Good morning, students. Welcome to our Mathematics 5 presentation for the assignment for 2018. I am your tutor, Ms. Loide Amupolo, and that is my contact number on the screen, 081 446 4446. In case you have a question, you can always call me. Okay. Welcome to our 2018 assignment-based contact session. This presentation will cover only the general guidelines that I want you to keep in mind when you are writing your 2018 assignment for Mathematics 5, and we'll also discuss some of the few questions that might be similar to one in your assignment. Okay, so then pay attention to what we are doing here. It might help you when you are writing your 2018 assignment. The assignment layout is for Mathematics 5 is very simple. All you need is to have a cover page that will be provided by Iol, and then you have your assignment content where you will answer your questions. Okay, you don't need an introduction or references, conclusion, or what those things, no. So then you only have, as long as there's a cover page with all your details clearly written there, and then what you have written in your assignment. Let's look at some of the general information about this subject. Use the examination pad to write your assignment, please, and write neatly as much as you can, and show all your workings. In case the question worth more than a mark, you might get a mark for your working if your answer happened to be wrong. We do not have study guides, my students, for Mathematics 5 and Mathematics 6 as well. So then you should just use your grade 12 textbooks. So then, because this Mathematics and 5 and 6 is mostly on grade 12 ordinary level, that is extended and core, and then just use those grade 12 textbooks. They are clear, very nice to use, student friendly. Just use those textbooks like the Prism Alive and the y is equal to mx plus c when you are doing your assignment. They have nice examples, well explained methods, so then it's very easy if you are to write your assignment. Use your textbooks. And then the assignment questions are not too far from the examination questions. They are just quite similar. We only change numbers or the method, the techniques on which we ask the questions, or maybe the diagrams, but then it's the same. If it says simplify, it's all about simplifying. Factorize is all about factorizing. All you know is you need to know is what to do when you are given something like that. And so when you are doing your assignment, take time to study more as well. That is your learning opportunity as well when you are doing your assignment. As I say, they are not so far from your examination questions. And people, my dear students, do your assignment by yourself. You can get help from someone, but make sure that you are there also when the person is making or doing the assignment, so that he can show you what things, how you got the answers, so that you can familiarize yourself with the modules and then the questioning techniques. And then this is also going to help you when you are preparing for your examination. Okay, so do your assignment by yourself, please. So that is very, very, very much important. And number your questions according to the question paper. If the question paper is having question 1, 1.1, 1.2, Roman 1, and so on, do as it is in the question paper. Okay, number your questions according to the question paper. And skip a line every after each question. Don't just write, I don't know whether this is the end of question 1 or the beginning of question 1, I don't know. So skip a line, or you can even underline after every question, so that I can now see that this is your final answer, and so you are continuing with another question. And make sure that your final piece is neat and legible and all the pages are securely fastened together. By the time your paper reach our office, I don't know where page 3 is, and students number your pages as well down there, so that you know maybe there's one missing question paper or so that you can look it up. But as long as your paper is fastened nicely and securely, there's no way your paper will get lost. So then, very, very much important. And your paper should be also neat, legible. Okay, let's look at about the assignment. The total marks for the assignment is 130 marks, and for that you need to score a minimum of 50% to qualify for the examination. Okay, 50% is just 65 over 130, which is less. I trust you can do it. Okay, you can even score more than 50%. And the Mathematics 5 covers the following topics. It's about numbers. Numbers from grade 1 we are learning about numbers. Even grade 12 we are learning about numbers. So then just look about numbers. And so a lot of things are under this chapter, under numbers. Okay, if you look in your book, you can see what is under this topic. Algebraic representations, formula, indices, and manipulation. That is another topic under Mathematics 5. Polynomials, equations, and inequalities is another part. Logarithms and sequences is another part of Mathematics 5, as well as the graphs. This one are not function graphs, but we call them graphs in practical situations, like the distance time graphs and so on. Okay, so these are the topics, 5 topics under Mathematics 5, and they are very easy. So just relax, and when you are doing your assignment, and make sure that you do it right. Okay, I want us to look at some of these questions. Simplify. This is part of algebra and indices. So then how are we going to simplify this equation like this? How are we going to simplify a question like that? Okay. This is one of the questions that you might come across in your assignment, and so you should know how to go about it. Let me just write it down again here. Is 2 power x minus 1 times 8 power x plus 1 divided by 4 power 2 x plus 1. How are you going to solve this one? How are we going to solve this one? You can see we have 2, 8, and 4 different bases. Now, what must we do in case we have bases like this? We find the prime factors. If we can write numbers as prime factors. 2 as a prime factor is 2 power 1. 8, we can write 8 as a power of 2 as well, just to make sure that our bases are the same. And 4, we can write it as a prime factor as well, as a product of prime factors. So it's a factor of 2. Okay, so then this one 2, it's already 2 x power 1. X minus 1 times 8 as a power of 2. This one is 2 power 3. 2 times 2 times 2 will give us 8. So then we write as a power of 2 is 2 power 3, and then in brackets here we have x plus 1, and then over there we are having 4. How can we write 4 as a prime factor, or as it's a power of 2 is 2 power 2, and then we have again 2, and then x plus 1. Okay, this is what we have now. Now our bases are the same. Now what must we do in case our bases are the same? We have 2 operations here, multiplication and division. We can multiply first. What do we do in multiplication? When we multiply, we add the indices together. So if the bases are the same, we add the indices together. All right, so then this is going to be 2, and then x power, if you add these bases together, x plus x, it will give us 2x, and then 1 minus 1 will just give us 0, so then this one is just going to be 2x. Then we are having a 3, yeah, and then 2 power 2 over x plus 1. We can remove these brackets. Then we have 2 power 2 there, okay, and then 2 times x will give us 2x, then 2 times 1 will give us 2. All right, then from there we come to division. How do we divide? When the bases are the same, you subtract the indices. Okay, so then because of time we might not go up to there, but then you know that when you are multiplying or dividing indices, make sure that your bases are the same. So then we make this one, it's a 2. We can write 8 and 4 as a power of 2. 8 as a power of 2 is 2 power 3. 4 as a power of 2 is 2 power 2. Then we use the rules of indices. When we are multiplying, if the bases are the same, we add the indices. And so here, then from there, when you are dividing, if the bases are the same, and then you subtract the indices. Okay, just like that, then you finalize your answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Write as a single fraction and simplifying your answer. How are you going to write this one? As a single fraction. This is under algebra as well, and I find this one quite challenging to the students. Okay. So then we have 2x plus 1 over 3 minus x minus 1 over 2. So then that is what you have. So then how are you going to do this? Okay, this is fractions, similar to algebraic fractions that you have learned. How do we subtract fractions? This is similar to common fractions. Like if I'm having 1 over 4 minus 2 over 3, for instance, how do I subtract this thing? It's similar. It's the same way. Make sure that your denominators are the same. Find the common denominator of 3 and 2, which is what? Which is 6. So then the lowest common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. So then here I multiply with 2. And there I should multiply with 2 as well. And there you multiply with 3, and there we have to multiply with 3 as well. So then make sure that when we are having 2 terms up, put them in brackets so that everything will be multiplied. Otherwise, if you just times 3 there, you only use 1 term instead of using all the terms. Okay, let's move further. Let's remove these brackets. 2 times 2x will give us 4x. Plus 2 times 1 will give us 2 over 3 times 2 is 6, minus 3 times x will give us 3x, and then 3 times 1 is 3, and then 2 times 3 is 6. Now our denominators are the same. If our denominators are the same, what do we do? To the numerators, we should just subtract them and keep the denominator. So then we have 4x plus 2 minus 3x minus 3 over 6. Now this is what I have. Remember, in algebra we are working with like terms and unlike terms. So then we subtract this. 4x minus 3x will just give us x, and then 2 minus 3 will give us negative 1. Okay, so then 4x and minus 3x will give us x, and 2 minus 3 will give us negative 1, and then over 6. So then that is our answer. So then x minus 1 over 6 is our final answer for this one. Okay, so then make sure you know how to do this very, very, very well. All right, sometimes it will come up complex. Okay, sometimes we even make it an equation, and it's not something that will be difficult. Okay, just go through your textbook nicely and make sure that you know what you are doing. Okay, let's look at one part again about simple and compound interest. Simple interest, if you just go through a little bit, as the word said by itself, this is the interest whereby the interest remain the same each and every year. For example, if you decided to invest money on the bank, then at a certain percentage, if that percentage will give you $50 per year, then it will be $50 for the first year, second year $50, third year $50, and so on. So then the interest is just the same. But then on compound interest, the interest changes every year. Okay, depending on the percentage. If you happen to get maybe $50 this year, next year it will be $30, $55 or more than that. So then it changes going up each and every year. Now these are the formulas that we have on simple and compound interest. How we work out the interest, the amount of interest that you get on simple interest. We take the principal, you multiply it with the rate, and then you multiply with the time in years, then you divide it with 100. We are having 100 here simply because the rate are in percentage, and remember that percentage are always out of 100. Okay, and then for you to work out the total amount, how much in total will you get when you invest in simple interest, you take the principal, the initial amount of money you invested, and then you add the interest that you got. Then on the compound interest, we have that formula. A represent the total. Now for you to work out how much in total we are going to get, you take the principal, the initial amount of money you invested, then you open brackets, there we have one represent that the interest change each and every year. You calculate over a single year, and then you add the rate, the percentage over 100, then you power it to the number of years. Power n represent the number of years, or t, you can put t there for the number of years. And for you to work out the interest, how much interest now you get, you minus the amount, the total amount that you get, minus the principal, the initial money that you invested. What remains is the interest now that you get. Okay, let's look at some of the questions now on these two types of interest. The first one is Ben invested $2,500 in a bank that pays 7% simple interest per year. How much will he have after 3 years? Now, my students, when you are working with simple and compound interest, it's advisable that you know which type of interest you are working with. Now, you should always underline that now this question is about simple interest. My focus should be on simple interest. Think about simple interest, how we work with simple interest. And you should read the question whether the question asks you to work out the total or it asks you to work out the interest. Those are the only two things that you ask. Either to work out the total or to work out the interest, and make sense of the question as well. Like in this case, how much will he have after 3 years? Of course, that will ask you about the total amount of money that this person will get after 3 years. All right, how are we going to work out this one now? We have the principal. The principal amount there is $2,500. Okay, we have the rate, the percentage, which is 7%. We have the time, which is 3 years. All right, then work out the total now. How are we going to work out the total? For the total amount, as I said, if you look back here, for us to work out the total amount, you must have the principal amount plus the interest. Are we having our principal amount? Yes, which is 2,500. Are we having the interest? No, I cannot see the interest here. So then we should work out the interest first. We should work out the interest first. Interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time divided by 100. How much is the principal? Is 2,500. The rate is 7. The time is 3 divided by 100. Then you just take your calculator. 2,500 times the rate, which is 7, times the time, which is 3, equal, then you divide it with 100. How much will you get here? 2,500 times 7 times 3 equal, divide by 100. How much is the interest? To give us an interest of amount of 525 Namibian dollars. This is the interest now. Okay, this is not your final answer. Remember, the question asks you to work out the total amount. And how can we get the total amount now? You add. So then you take the principal, which is 2,500 plus the interest that you worked out there, 525 Namibian dollars. Then how much will you get there? That interest plus the principal. So then this person is going to get, after 3 years, is going to get 3,025 Namibian dollars. Okay, so then answer the question, please. That is always what I advise. Read the question thoroughly and make sure that you answer the question. Okay, let's look at the next question about the compound interest now. Rosa invested 3,000 in a bank that pays 8% compound interest. Underline that, compound interest, and always focus your thinking on compound interest and how we work it out. How much will she have at the end of 3 years? How much will she have at the end of 3 years? So then that one is also asking you about the total, to work out the total amount. So then what is it you're having? 3,000 represent what? That is the principal, which is 3,000. Are you having the rate? Of course, yes, which is 8%. Are you having the time? Yes, which is 3 years. Okay, so then how can we work out the total amount? Remember, the formula for the total amount is that one. Total amount is equal to principal, open brackets, 1 plus the rate over 100 power n. This is power n, eh? Don't put your n here. So then it's a power, and you know how to write powers. Then you do your substitution. How much is the principal? Is 3,000. Open bracket, just substitute the way it is. 1 plus the rate, 8 over 100. And then power, how many years? Is 3 years. Then you can take your calculator, then work it out as it is. 3,000, open brackets, 1 plus 8 over 100, close the brackets, power 3. Then how much will you get here? It will give us a total amount of 3,779 to 2 decimal places, 0.14. So then that is the total amount. This is the total amount of money this person will get after 3 years. Total. Alright? Then the next question asks you to work out the interest. How much the interest she earned. So then according to how we work out the interest, look at that one. We subtract the A for the total. So then to work out the interest, take out your A, which is the total, which is 3,000 in this case, 779.14, minus the principal, the money that you invested, which is 3,000 Namibian dollars. So then you subtract the 3,000 there. How much will you get? Okay, how much will you get in this case? It will give us 779.14. Alright, that is our answer for that one. Okay, so then make sure that you know how to work with simple interest and compound interest very, very, very well. Okay, that is the end for now on Mathematics 5. I'm just advising you to always read the questions very, very, very carefully and make sure that you're answering your questions. Your questions or your answers must be complete and look at the marks allocated, and please answer the question. Okay, and write as neatly as you can. Your writing should be neat. All right, I wish you all the best, all right, in your writing of your examination, in your assignment, and I thank you very, very, very much.